Hi everybody, this is the Planet Earth here. I just wanted to talk to you guys about benzodiazepines and why they are used. Sorry for the flickering light. It is so cold, that's probably why it's flickering or the bulbs are going out. But that's not a big deal, we'll get some new bulbs. Are these even Phillips? Because these things are old. But let me talk to you guys about it. So, benzodiazepines, alright, I'll tell you what they're used for. They're not only used for anxiety. Benzodiazepines can be used for inner ear disorders, like if you have balance or vertigo issues. Benzodiazepines can also be used for other things other than just anxiety, but it helps a lot with nerve conditions. And that's another reason why benzodiazepines are used, because it slows down those receptors in your brain. It slows them down. You're like literally, you could literally be shot out with guns, and it wouldn't bother you. Well, I mean, your heart would start racing. You would go into fight or flight response, but in general, you would be able to calm down compared to people who are not. Well, I mean, if you're getting shot at, you're gonna race. Your heart will race no matter what. I don't care who you are or where you're from. If you're getting shot at, you're gonna fight or flight. But just in general, like if you're having severe anxiety, it was so fucking cold up in here. It's -9 Fahrenheit. I mean, -1 Fahrenheit, and the wind chill's -9. So and this is nothing. It's not even gonna get colder in the next couple of days. But let me talk to you about those benzos. Why do people use benzodiazepines? And why are they so dangerous? Benzodiazepines, right? Benzodiazepines themselves are used specifically for anxiety disorders, panic attack disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder. It really does work for PTSD in a lot of people. It works for even psychosis in certain people. And it stops seizures, like non-benzo withdrawal seizures. It helps with seizures disorders. And it is used as an anti-seizure. So is Valium. Is really good for anti-seizure, and Klonopin is very good for anti-seizure medication. Because what happens is your brain is, through the anxiety, go as soon as the Ativan kicks in, or the benzo or whatever. Here's an example of what my doctor said. Okay, let's say you have 10 GABA receptors, right? We'll just say 10. All right, so during when you're not having benzodiazepine, you're having a panic attack, all 10s are overstimulated. But when you take the benzodiazepine, only 2 are overstimulated instead of 10. So it slows down your receptors. You're just like this. You just calm down like this. That's what happens when you take a benzodiazepine. It helps stop the anxiety. It actually stops it. It stops the anxiety attack. That's what it does. It actually stops it. It slows your brain down to the point of where you can just relax and enjoy yourself instead of, oh my God, like that. Instead, you're just like, oh my God. It's like being with a girl. Same thing. Benzodiazepines are used for people who have heart disease. Benzodiazepines are used for people who have some certain sorts of seizures. Status epilepticus. And benzodiazepines are used for people who have high blood pressure that's caused by stress. That helps a lot with it. Me, I get really high blood pressure when I'm having a panic attack, or if I'm just stressed out to the max. This whole benzodiazepine thing that I've been going through, I shouldn't even have to go through it. But, I mean, I'm down to point 5 twice a day, which is 1 milligram out of 4. And it's working okay, surprisingly. I'm not too bad at it now. It's already been about 20 days since I started the withdrawal. Well, technically, about 20 days now. Is it working? My hands are actually hurting right now. Because it's so fucking cold. What the fuck? Even these things aren't working right, and they usually do, but they're probably so cold, they flicker. Don't want to touch them too hard, they'll pop. But, like I said though, benzodiazepines are important. And they are serious. Some people actually need them. A lot of people, like the older folks, 60, 70 years old, they take benzodiazepines. The problem is with prolonged term use is, especially when you're older, is they only recommend them for a short time because it can cause dementia. Now, I don't know the facts on the dementia part, but it can cause dementia, which is crazy. Ow! Damn. Oh, my nose is also becoming numb. Fuck, dude. Ow. Ow! I should put gloves on. So, benzodiazepines need to be administered in some people. If somebody has an anxiety disorder, shouldn't they just be able to take those medications instead of having to worry about withdrawal? For people who actually are diagnosed with severe anxiety, shouldn't they be able to take them? I mean, think about it. Shouldn't they be able to take the benzodiazepines and live a normal life? You don't say that to people who have heart disease. You don't say that to people who have cancer. You'll probably give them benzodiazepines at that point, especially if they have cancer. You'll probably give that for anxiety reduce, especially when they're getting their treatment. Benzodiazepines also help with nausea in a lot of people, surprisingly. But this under prescription for people who have real bad anxiety disorder should be treated with either benzos or allototherapy or both. But to cold turkey people off medication is extremely dangerous. My doctor is very bad at that. My other doctor that I saw was extremely bad at that. She just suddenly cold turkeyed me off that medication. She should lose her license. Even the doctor that administered me to the hospital said the same thing. She should lose her license. Especially how much I've been taking for so many years. 2 milligrams twice a day since 2010, strictly. I've never had a problem overtaking my medication. So, it's either suffer with anxiety, suffer through withdrawal and anxiety, or suffer really bad anxiety and have no medication to calm me down. Like right now, if I was to go on an airplane, I might panic. Because I don't really have the medication, I don't have it to calm me down. When I went to Hawaii from LA, it was smooth sailing. I mean, I was just like, I popped my pill, which is the 2 milligram Ativan, which is lorazepam generic. I took it, and within 20 minutes, my heart stopped racing. I looked out the window, and I just, like when you hear that airplane noise, and the pressure's kind of, a little bit different than that is on the ground, you nod away. Benzodiazepines do that. They really do. Like, you could literally be falling out of the sky, and you just be like, are we there yet? Are we going to fly yet? I'm serious. I'm not joking. Yes, your heart will race, but the anxiety part doesn't exist. So, do benzos work on people who are suffering from anxiety disorder? Yes. Do people deserve to be cold turkey off medication, possibly go into seizures because of stupid doctors' actions? Why don't they get the facts before they do something like that? Get the facts first. Call their doctors. Just don't cold turkey off people off these medications. This city doesn't have any detox centers that you can get for free. This city, you have to pay a lot of money to go to a detox center here. The nearest one's in Cincinnati and Columbus. Dayton doesn't have any that are free or low cost. You literally have to pay thousands of dollars to get off the medication here. And that's sad. In my opinion. That is sad. What about all the people who take heroin in this state? Why is it that they get better treatment than people with benzodiazepine use? And legal. People move from California all the time here. I'm serious. I've talked to people from California that lived in Ohio and they love it here. They said they love the temperatures, etc. Ooh. My hands are turning numb. Alright, I'm going to put them inside the jacket there. It should be a little bit warmer there. Think about this, though. Yes, benzodiazepine in long-term usage probably is not the healthiest thing. But it's a balance. Do you want misery, panic disorders, panic attacks, high blood pressure spikes, not real high, but high, possible stroke during withdrawal, possible seizures during withdrawal, or would you rather come down on a taper program? Or would you just move? Some people said I should move. I said, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to let them win. There's always options. But in general, benzodiazepine usage should be allowed for people who have really bad anxiety disorders, especially when your family has a history of it. Don't you think that would only be wise? Why is it that we have to have the panic attacks, the high heart rate, the racing, when nobody else experiences? Doctors don't experience this kind of thing. They don't experience the actual panic attack. They don't experience the high heart rate, the extremely high blood pressure in certain people. That's from the panic attack, not the withdrawal. They experience panic attacks. They experience delusions, everything that you can imagine, mentally but physically. They experience the worst fear. They scream and they run and they cry. That's what I do when I have them. Sometimes, not all the time. It depends on the severity of it. Some last a minute. Some last 5 minutes. Some last 10 minutes. And then mine, they last about two hours. Sometimes, but not all the time. Ow! But do you think that is fair to us? Think about that. Do you really think that everybody is out to abuse Ativan medication? Do you think everybody out there in this whole country just wants to abuse the medication? Do you think everybody out there is a drug addict? Look at their history before deciding that, well, because a few people have been overdosing on the heroin medication or the heroin, and a few have overdosed on the Ativan, the whole state suddenly has to go on lockdown with the benzodiazepine users for people who have valid anxiety. It even helps with depression. Benzodiazepines help a lot of people with depression. They don't have to take antidepressants because what happens is it relaxes your GABA receptors. If it relaxes your GABA receptors, you're not anxious. If you're not anxious, you can't be depressed as much. You might feel a little depressed, but not as depressed as if you weren't on the benzodiazepines. Now, benzodiazepines are dangerous to get off because all of a sudden it's allowing all those GABA receptors to start going really fast, and they overdo it because they haven't done it in such a long time. So all of a sudden the GABA receptors are going doom, 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 doom. It's overfiring. That's what people who have seizure history end up having seizures that don't stop until they're administered either a very strong anti-seizure medication or benzodiazepines to restore the withdrawal, so it's not withdrawing. And that's sad. Think about it. Think about all the people who have validly been taking the medications and suddenly these doctors have had to leave. Or they had to move. Or they moved on their own. They didn't give them a prescription to refill. They didn't give them time to find a doctor. They just cold turkeyed these patients. And it's not fair to the millions of people out in the world who take these medications and then suddenly have to stop taking them. They exist for anti-anxiety properties. They use it before surgeries because it really does calm patients down. I would say at least 80% of patients calm down after they take a benzodiazepine. They calm. They just, okay, I'm ready to do the surgery. Some doctors give benzos in the, what is it? Oh, my nose is numb. Look at that response. Look at that. See? I'm not able to do it fast. That's because it's -1 Fahrenheit. And in here it's it's 2 Fahrenheit. Garage only makes it about 4 degrees warmer. But, 4 degrees warmer, 40 degrees cooler during the summertime. Now, what is going on here? What is wrong with this country? What is wrong with the medical field? Where they're saying, well, because he's been taking it for so long, let me just get him off this medication suddenly. What if he has anxiety disorder? What if he's homeless? What if the anxiety disorder is being masked by the benzos? Yes, it's not a permanent solution, but let them go to therapy. Let them get help. Don't cold turkey people off these medications. The seizure risk is high. The high blood pressure spikes. If you're older, it could be stroke possibility. I thought I was having a stroke during this withdrawal process because my whole face right here was numb for about 8 hours. But it wasn't a stroke. Ow! Damn, dude. Oh, I can't even feel my hand. God damn. Oh, that's better. Oh, shit. Now, that's cold. But, guys, look, I have over 6,000 subscribers as of this video. Almost 6,500 subscribers as of this video. There's a specific reason why most of these people subscribe. And most of these people subscribe to this channel because they suffer from anxiety disorder, depression, or schizophrenia, or bipolar. I know schizophrenia. I know bipolar disorder. It's not fair to them. It's not fair for anyone to suffer from this at all, ever. This benzodiazepine usage should be legal in people who have it. It should actually be confirmed to the state of every state. If this person really does suffer from anxiety, and they've proven it multiple times, if this person's had so many ER visits not because they want the medication, but because they want help with the panic attacks. If they put these people on benzodiazepines, don't you think the world would be just a little bit better off? Don't you think that people in general, I don't want to take these medications, but just people in general, don't you think they'd be a little bit calmer if they just had benzodiazepines? If they had something to help with those anxiety attacks? Don't you think there'd be less ER visits, and don't you think the hospitals wouldn't pay or charge? People wouldn't have so much debt if they had no anxiety. In my opinion, I bet you a lot of anxiety sufferers like me have a very high and a lot of hospital bills. And it's not fair to us. We don't deserve it. We have never deserved it. Nobody here has ever deserved this. You know, I couldn't even say it. I could wish it on my worst enemies. And I don't have any enemies that I know of. I probably have enemies through YouTube because they always seem to hate me for some reason. I try my best to make videos. I don't make them perfectly. I try my best. I'm not perfect. I'm not a perfect guy. I can't please everybody. Is what it is. I can't please everybody. And if I could, I would. But I can't please everybody, and I never will be able to. Some people hate me. Some people hate my guts. But I can't please everybody. But the best thing I can do is say, people, yes, if you suffer from anxiety, is it really fair for doctors to take you off benzodiazepine suddenly, cold turkey medication, especially if the person's been taking over 5 or 6 years? Well, it's actually technically now, it's about 6 years, almost. And they're totally cold turkey people just because they came from California, because they think you're a drug addict. Do you really think that's fair to be labeled as a drug addict if you have valid prescription history and you've been taking the medication as prescribed? Do you think that's fair for a doctor to call you could be a drug addict, I don't care, and tell you, I hope bad things happen to you? I won't go into details because I'm technically I'm going to file a complaint against that woman for what she told me after she said, I'm not giving you any more medication, good luck, and don't come back to my practice, after I've been very kind with her the whole time and I never said anything negative. But for a woman of her practice to be treating me that way, I can never forgive you for that. If I would have had a seizure and died, you would have gone and lost your practice, and you possibly would have went to jail because of your stupid actions. And this is not the only person you've done it to. You've also done this to other people that I talk to. You've done this to other people, but they're forced to go there. That's not fair to them either. Especially people who've been taking the medication for years. But that's my rant and that's my video. That's just my opinion of benzodiazepine usage. Thank you guys for watching, and this has been the Planet Earth here.